Hey, welcome back to the Bluebird Bookshelf. My name is Kelly and I am so happy you're here to read with me today. Today we are reading a really silly story in honor of Groundhog Day. It's called Groundhog's Runaway Shadow. So if you've watched all of our other Groundhog Day videos here on the Bluebird Bookshelf, then you already know that in the United States, we celebrate a holiday called Groundhog Day, where we all wait and look and see if the groundhog comes out of his burrow and sees his shadow. So the shadow is really important to Groundhog Day because if the groundhog sees his shadow, then we predict that winter is going to be extra long this year. But if Groundhog doesn't see his shadow, then we think spring is going to come early and we're going to have warmer weather. And that's really important to us because we have so many farmers here in the United States and they need to know when they need to plant their crops. So this book is really fun because Groundhog's shadow runs away. And as we just said, his shadow is really important to him. So his shadow is going to go on a great big adventure and I can't wait to read it with you. Are you ready? Let's read. Look at Groundhog's shadow. There he is, and his shadow is doing all kinds of things without him. Groundhog's Runaway Shadow by David Biedrzycki, maybe? I don't know how to say the author's last name. The only thing that could keep up with little Phil Groundhog was his shadow. Take a look. Phil is so fast, and these animals cannot keep up, but his shadow is always keeping up with him. Wonder why. Does your shadow always keep up with you? No matter how fast he ran, or how high he jumped, his shadow followed his every move. Whether he laughed or cried, his shadow was always right there beside him. Even when Phil felt small, his shadow could make him feel bigger. He's singing, pretty hippos out walking with gorillas down my street. That's funny. But everyone grows up, even groundhogs and their shadows. Grown-up groundhogs are expected to act a certain way. But Phil's shadow had other plans. Look, Phil's going to work, but his shadow is still having fun. Maybe that's why he wants to run away, because Phil is boring and his shadow wants to have fun. Let's see. Phil's idea of the perfect vacation was taking the bus to the local beach. Shadow dreamed of visiting far away places. So Phil's going to the beach, but Shadow wants to see Italy, and Paris, and Egypt, and New York. Phil loved scary movies. Shadow, not so much. Phil's happy. Shadow's not. Phil enjoyed eating dandelions, clover, and tree bark. Oh no, what is Shadow like? Shadow craved something spicy. Taco Town. Phil liked to be on time. Shadow liked to stop and smell the roses. This is pretty problematic because I think your shadow has to go wherever you go, right? At first, Phil found Shadow's behavior amusing. That's another word for cute or fun to watch, but a little off-key. Phil's friends found it amazing, sweet, and a little gross. Burp! Oh no, how embarrassing. But soon, it got annoying, and then downright embarrassing. Phil had had enough. Why can't you be like other shadows? I wish you would just go away. Oh, he's sad. Shadow was crushed. He got angry, but then he thought about it. Phil said he should go away. Aha! And he had always wanted to travel. So that night, look, he's packed a bag while Phil's asleep. And the next morning, and a couple of days later, and into the following week, that's exactly what he did. Look at him. The pyramids? Back at home, Phil tried everything to find his shadow. Look, he's shining a light on himself and there's no shadow on the ground. Oh, shadow, where are you? He posted signs. Lost. Have you seen my shadow? If found, keep shadow out of shade and call 555-555 immediately. He used the newspaper. Groundhog seeks shadow. Fun-loving homebody Groundhog is looking for lost shadow. Please come back, shadow, so we can hibernate together. I promise things will be different. This is so bad. The Groundhog has to find his shadow on February 2nd, but his shadow is missing. Then he saw Shadow making news without him. Mysterious shadow seen at the Eiffel Tower. That's in Paris, France. Shadow to star in movie. Shadow meets Queen. Shadow rocks White House. Suddenly, Phil's life seemed pretty dull. He longed to be exploring with Shadow. Halfway around the world, Shadow realized something was missing. He had no one to share in his adventures. Look, all of these people have their shadows with them, but not Shadow. He's all alone. The thought of searching for Shadow scared Phil silly. He'd have to travel far and wide, but the next morning, and a couple of days later, and into the following week, that's exactly what he did. He's going to find Shadow. He searched. Shadow? 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 And searched. Shadow? And searched some more. Finally, when he could search no longer, he had an idea. Oh, he's opening up something. Click. He began to play. And when he did, he heard someone gently accompanying him. Oh, is his shadow back? The two friends played together, this time in perfect harmony. And the next morning, and a couple of days later, and forever after, that's exactly what they did. They played together. That's so cute. Uh-oh. Except sometimes on February 2nd. Shadow? Sometimes he doesn't see his shadow on February 2nd, remember? The end. I hope you enjoyed reading Groundhog's Runaway Shadow with me as much as I enjoyed reading with you. Did you see any cool places that you've never been in this book before? I especially love the part about the Eiffel Tower. I think it's so funny that his shadow went all over the world without him. I also liked the part where his direction to bring the shadow back said, don't put him in sunlight. And you know why? What happens to your shadow when light shines on it? It goes away. Here's a fun activity for you today. Go outside with your parents and see if you can find your shadow. I would love to know, is your shadow very short? Is your shadow very tall? Is your shadow wide? Is your shadow skinny? I'd love to hear what your shadow looks like today, so let me know if you try this activity. Also, if you like wholesome and happy agenda-free stories for kids, please subscribe to my channel. That tells YouTube that you like this kind of content and helps us make more videos for you. You can also click the notification bell and that will send you an alert to your YouTube account whenever new stories are posted. So I'm so glad that you're here on Bluebird Bookshelf, and I would love to share more stories with you. I'll see you next time. Bye!